Hello friends, welcome back to the bench, the back end of the Black Horse repairs. Alright, now my previous client, that was a couple days ago, submitted the ticket for the IC608 resoldering, and he submitted the ticket with my system, right? And when we go through my system completely, you pay through my system, and that's $100. But you also have an option of using eBay, and I have a listing over there. It's $130. So it's a bit more expensive, but there are some additional costs regarding selling via eBay. With the direct transaction, I only pay like 2% or whatever on the amount that you're paying. You can use the card, you can use the Apple Pay, Google Pay, all that stuff. You can even sign up for like payment options, stuff like that. Anyways, I responded, sent the address and everything, but then I see that I have a new order on eBay. So I didn't associate it because it was a different name on the eBay order. I mean, a different first name. Last name was the same. The customer's wife made the purchase on eBay, and the reason for that the customer stated was that he wasn't aware how to make a payment, and that is true. That is true that the customer didn't know, because when you go to the current help desk, right, you can submit a ticket, view existing ticket. If you view existing ticket, you need to provide the ticket ID and your email. If those match, you can submit responses and all that. So it's kind of like a lack of authorization, as long as you know your ticket number, which is published, right? I publish those numbers on the videos. You can read the ticket number, but what I don't publish, obviously, is the user's email. So only the person that knows the email can actually see and respond to the ticket. So it's kind of like a very primitive authorization or authentication, and actually both in this case. But I like how simple it is, because you're gonna remember your email, and if you follow the link from the email that you received, you don't have to do all that. You're directed directly to the ticket. When you submit a ticket, what you do is just put name, email, subject, and message. You can attach files, like some people send the pictures of the stuff, or sometimes even a technical documentation or something like that that is attached to the product that I'm receiving, the device that I'm receiving, which makes it easier for me to to repair it. And a simple spam protection, and that's it, right? So it's easy to see that the customer is not really aware. So how do I pay? There's no payment on the page, and there's no information regarding how do we pay. So until now, let me just close this door. Until now, I've been using, not until now, until like a couple weeks ago, I've been using primarily PayPal. So you needed to have a PayPal account, obviously, to send me the money. I also, before I accepted Venmo, but I kind of don't want the payment spread across two systems, and it pretty much works the same. So I just kind of settled. I just do PayPal. I don't do Venmo anymore. Plus, some of my customers are not US based, so they cannot use Venmo. PayPal can be used across, well, at least across the countries that I receive items from. And that's usually Canada, South America. I rarely get stuff from Europe, but it happens. Or at least I get inquiries about stuff from Europe. But I usually tell the customer that you should be able to find a repair shop a lot closer to you. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of expensive to send across the ocean back and forth the item for which repair you also pay $100. It's kind of pricey, and that particular repair can be performed by pretty much any repair shop, in my view, that does any kind of microelectronics. So my idea now is, first of all, I think the time came after over a year of using Hesk that I create my own ticketing system. And what do I want from my ticketing system? I don't have the whole idea and all the features, so I plan to kind of, first of all, release it in stages to gather feedback from the users that would be using the system. And on top of that, I want it to be customizable enough that when you actually download my system, it's free, open source, you can modify it and customize it in a way that you wouldn't even tell that it's the same system. It's kind of like the online stores and stuff, right? Like Magento, you can customize it that you wouldn't even recognize that this is Magento. Some other solutions are a little less customizable in a way that when you enter the store, you immediately see that it's this kind of like open cart or whatever, because it screams at you, because there are particular features that you cannot override, you cannot change the way it works. So you kind of just, if you do a lot of online stores, meaning building them or configuring them, deploying them, then you kind of immediately recognize that, oh, I know this one. With Magento, it's kind of, sometimes it's surprising that, oh, this was built on Magento, amazing. So I want this system to be kind of customizable in the same way. And the second thing that I already figured out what I want to do is the way you submit the ticket. So let's make that happen. First design feature that I want is what eBay introduced in the feedback management, providing feedback for your shopping. This was always something that bothered me a lot, because it's a time-consuming action that I need to take. Sometimes I need to spend even 10-15 minutes just providing feedback for the items that I bought. I buy a lot of stuff on eBay because everything that I buy for the repair shop usually comes from eBay. Usually, not always, that's not my only source, but it's my primary source. The same for parts and everything. I get everything off eBay. So then I go to the my purchases, and previously I had to press the button, go to the next page, provide the feedback, okay, go to another page, hit no, I don't want to save the seller, or I do want to save the seller, and then hit back once or twice, I don't remember. Then I go back to that page again, but the page hasn't refreshed, so the feedback I provided for this particular item still on the list is displayed as it needs feedback. But I remember I already gave feedback to this one. I scroll to another one, but after a while I get confused, like, did I provide feedback for this one already? It's very time consuming. Now eBay introduced this new feature where you have collapsed lines, collapsed divs, that you click on, it expands, you put in your feedback, you hit OK, it collapses again and changes to the status of, this one is checkmarked, and the page auto scrolls a little bit so you can hit pretty much in the same location, hitting a next one. Provide a feedback, OK, next one. That makes a huge difference. Now I can provide feedback for 20 items in less than a minute. And before, for 10 items, I would have to spend at least 5, maybe 8 minutes providing feedback. And plus the time I get confused which one I already provided, so I refresh the page. It was a hassle. Now it makes a huge difference, and I didn't know how much of a difference it would make until I actually started using this new a new way of providing feedback, as opposed to previous way. So if I just saw that as a design feature, I probably wouldn't have caught how much time it saves. So it's amazing, and it's also very intuitive. I like that design. So I want to create something like that, but for the ticket's sake, right? So here, I'm gonna not worry about attachments for now, because that's gonna be a separate thing. I think I'll just introduce that as a feature later on, because it's not essential. If someone wants to send me whatever the attachments or whatever, they can always use the email. It's not like it's gonna completely be useless if that feature is not on. And the second thing, it's going to be a lot easier, both for the customer and for me, a lot more less time consuming, if the customer can make a payment of a bench fee of whatever we configured. In my case, it's $35, before even submitting the ticket, or the ticket is submitted but it's awaiting bench fee payment, right? And I basically don't even see that ticket until the customer commits and pays $35 for a bench fee. Then obviously I attach another payment request for the shipment back, right? Because it depends on the item. I can't charge you up front for it because I don't know how heavy it's going to be, or perhaps I do know how heavy it's going to be, because I know what you're sending. I give it Surface Pro 4. I know how much it weighs. The PlayStation or ECM, I know how much it's going to weigh. But the box you send it in, I usually just reuse that box. There are exceptions. Sometimes the item is not packaged properly, so I just repackage it in a new box. Or sometimes it comes in a huge box and I just replace it with a smaller box. Sometimes it happens, but basically all that impacts the price. So I can't charge you up front for shipping. The shipping is going to be what the shipping is going to be once I receive the item. And if I don't fix it, then you only pay for the bench fee, and I just ship it back as it got in with some analysis, some measurements, or some pointers what to do with that device. Then it's only the bench fee and the shipping. If you send it, you already paid for the bench fee, then I deduct the bench fee from whatever you owe for the repair, right? Bench fee is waived if there is a repair. Bench fee is paid only when there was no repair, right? Or when there was a repair attempt. So that's basically how it works. So now it's going to save me a lot of time. If the customer, well, first of all, it's going to save me a lot of time if the customer can already do all that stuff without me even knowing. But it also is going to make it easier for the customer, or more transparent for the customer, how the process works. The page that I envision is collapsible divs. First one, your personal information, your name, email. Second, return address. We always, with eBay, it's easier because I get the eBay order and there's the address on the eBay order. Here, on the other hand, sometimes it happens that I receive the device, the communication with the customer is perfect, but then the device is received, the device is fixed, I have it boxed up, and I want to print a label, but the customer is not responding now. I want the address, but the customer is not responding. That happened to me on more than 2 occasions. It's not a huge issue because, yeah, that box is just going to be waiting. The ticket number is printed on the box, and it's just waiting for the label. I'll find it. It's not like it's a huge hassle, but it's kind of a risk because the more boxes I have ready to be shipped without the labels, the more possible it is for me to mix up boxes, mix up labels. So I rather avoid that. Usually the way it works, I receive the item, I immediately put the ticket number on it, I fix it the same day or the next day, usually the next day, and I print a label, stick it on the box, and the box goes to the out box, right? And it makes it to the UPS as soon as there is an opportunity to go to the UPS. So that's how I like to do it. But if I cannot get the address from the customer, that makes it harder. So in this case, I wanna just request that return address immediately, right? It's gonna be optional because I don't wanna insist on it too much, but that's gonna be much easier. Then I just see the ticket, I fix the item, I pull up the ticket, I already have the address, and possibly I will just make the integration with ShipStation or something that will allow me to just click the button on the ticket and the label will be printed. I'm not sure how to do it. I'm not sure whether it can be done. Or let me rephrase that. I don't know how much effort I will have to put into that. So I'll think about it. But that is something that I would like to have. And all of those features that I have in mind are a result of a little over a year of working in repair shop or owning a repair shop. So at this point, because initially I just wanted some ticketing system because I didn't know what I wanted, what I needed actually. I didn't know what I needed. Now I know what I need. So now I'm finally ready to even attempt creating my own ticketing system. And obviously I want it to be open source for all of you guys. So let's go to payments, and the first thing that I did is added jQuery. I know it would have been awesome if I could write it in Vue, and I have a little bit of experience with Vue, actually like kind of around a year working in Vue. I have a little bit of experience in Angular, but I really don't like the architecture of it. I do like the architecture of Vue. And I have some experience in React, which I also preferred over Angular. But that means that first we need two repositories, one for front end, one for the back end. Front end development is not something that I normally do. I'm a primarily a backend engineer, backend developer. So it would have to be, it would be a slow process for me to develop it in a front-end framework. There would be some learning curve, and obviously it would have been very time-consuming. So I prefer to just use the technology I'm comfortable with. I have some more experience working with, and it's a lot quicker, at least for me. I don't have to have the API, because for the front-end framework, as I said, I would have one repository for front-end, one for back-end, right? So the front-end talks to the back-end via API. So I have to have that API also done. So it's kind of like working on two projects, which is normally what I would have done at work or for the customer if the customer ordered a ticketing system, right? Then I would advise to do it that way. Let's keep the front and back end separate. But then I would advise, this is the kind of team that I need, right? I need 3 front-end engineers, 2 back-end engineers, the QA guy, and the DevOps guy, right? And that's the team that I need to get it done, right? I don't have that team. And that team is not going to be available for this project, unless maybe in the future the project will gain some interest from other developers, other engineers, and they will want to contribute to the open source project. We'll see. But at the moment, we need to work with what we have and in the time frame that we have, and we need to have some results relatively quickly. So usually these sessions are 1 hour long. At the moment, well, with this one, we're already like 20 minutes in, and we haven't written a single line of code. But this is kind of a introduction to all this. But this is going to be the 1 hour sessions, maybe 3 times a week, maybe twice a week. So it's not going to be a rapid development. But for that reason, we need to have a lot achieved in that 1 hour. So we're gonna have to cut some corners, leave the improvements for the future, not future proofing, right? Just getting the results as quickly as we can, and hopefully without making too much mess. We don't want to make too much mess in it, so we don't want to cut too many corners. We don't want to be sloppy, but I expect that the test coverage is going to be on the verge of non-existent, because that would take me longer. I can always add the tests before afterwards, but I never do that. I always start with the test, or at least I write tests relatively early, and that's part of my development strategy, of my my methodology. It's not TDD per se, but it's relatively close to that. Maybe not too close, but it's something in the ballpark of test-driven development. So we're not gonna use that here, or at least for now, because primarily right now I wanna do some front end. And for that, as I said, I just added a jQuery, and I got minimized version if we are in production, and the local non-minimized version if we are working locally. Yeah. So now let's close all this and go to our actual system, which is here. So this is our main page. So on this main page, no, we don't want to modify the main page. Oh, actually we do. So we want to put the button over here to submit a ticket, because right now we have here submit a ticket, which takes us to blackhorserepairs.com. So it takes us to Hesk. So let's add another block over here, and this is our index page, right? What do we have? That's home. Yeah. So let's add a div that will be a container margin top 3. It can be a little closer. Then we want another card over here, and in that card we want the card body. And we'll do h4 or h5, because I did h5 above there, which will be card title, and in which we're gonna be submit new ticket, submit a new ticket, or submit new ticket. Yeah, let's do submit or submit a ticket. Okay, that'll do. And the card body, and there's just gonna be a single button, button primary, and submit whatever. But all that, I want only, oops, environment helper, if it's not production. Okay, I don't want that to be rendered in production. And the reason for that is because it's not ready yet. So I want to leave this page as it is, right? But if you're on local, you can submit a ticket. right? And our href on that will be router URL, and the route will be named tickets submit. Okay, so we don't know what that template is yet, and we're not worried about it because, as I always say, templates are always subject to change. So you don't want to hard code any templates and the URLs in your application anywhere. And so we're gonna go to routes and create that route, and we have an admin. Let's do another route, another scope. Do we need another scope? That'll be for tickets. I want to have a tickets controller, and we're gonna have a submit and view ticket in that controller. So I don't think we need a scope, but let's reuse our main scope mainly. We have cross-site request forgery middleware there, so tickets, let's do this. Builder, and that will be a get route. It will be yeah, so we'll call them. Okay, let's not overthink this. Let's just do /submit. It'll be easy for anyone to just kind of remember that remember that route. A controller will be tickets. Action will be submit page. Yeah, just to indicate that this is just a page. When we actually submit, we're going to submit to a different action. I don't like actions that handle more than one what do you call it, verb, right? Get, put, patch, post. So I want to have a dedicated action for get and for post. So this one will be for get, and the other one will be for the post. Also, it's easier because the last argument is the name. So tickets submit. That's a route. So now when we go to the application, it'll say that, oh no, it won't say anything because the route is there. It's all good. But when we click on it, it'll say no controller, because indeed we don't have that controller. So let's create the controller. So this was our calculation. We want to go to payments, and we're gonna do php bin cake.php bake controller and tickets. And I probably, yeah, that is so annoying, but what are you gonna do? Super slow, but that's fine. Actually, let's close the Hesk and let's just work on this one. So the Hex project is configured that it will, for some reason, just break at first line or in some unspecified breakpoints when you run from CLI. Usually it goes the other way around, like you can get that configured because for some reason it doesn't work, it won't break point in the CLI script. And here I have the opposite. I don't want it to break, but it keeps breaking in the CLI. Happens. Alright, so let's go to that controller and let's add it to the repo. Let's get rid of all the garbage. And we want, what was it, submit page. We're not gonna give it the return because why? Also worth to note that we're writing PHP 7.4 compatible code. Why do we do that? There are so many reasons. The majority of the PHP 8 is syntactic sugar. I mean, obviously improvements in the efficiency and all that, but the majority of it is syntactic sugar. And if I make the project requiring PHP 8.3, that's going to cut down the number of servers that will support this application that cannot be upgraded to PHP 8 for one reason or another. PHP 7.4 is out of update cycle for it's not supported anymore, basically. So if you have any kind of certification and any kind of compliance, it will probably not fly either way. So you will have to upgrade to PHP 8. So PHP 7 is pretty much out of life now. But the reason we're making this PHP 7 compatible is to allow older servers to run this application. So we're not going to use this syntactic sugar from PHP 8, which is too bad on one hand, but on the other hand, there's not a lot of stuff that I will need from it. And this is just a wrapper around the database, basically. And let's just, no, not redirect, render templates will be called submit ticket. And let's create this template. So this will be namespace tickets. Yes. Tickets. And PHP file submit ticket. And we're gonna, so here we're gonna play with those collapsible divs, right? But first let's have a container bumped from the top a bit, and this is where our divs will live. So this will be a form, and pretty much the form contents will be just scattered across different divs, and they will expand and collapse as the user goes through the form each point. We could also use a carousel. That would also be, in my view, it's also pretty good, but I don't know. I just kind of I got this I don't know, got this impression that this works a little more intuitive, or appears a little more intuitive. So let's do that. For that, let's reuse cards. We can use panels or cards. Let's use a card, and that will, let's call it, so this will be a, do we need to find this one? No, actually we don't need to find this one, so we don't need any more classes here. So we need a class card title. So the card title will be a div, because within that div, not h5 or anything, because within that div we need a button. Button default, or button warning. No, let's do primary. And let's call it fill for now, doesn't really matter. We'll work on the copy later. Alright, so we have a button fill over here in the title. Now let's pull it to the right. I will likely have to do the more divs over here. Oh, and pull right didn't work because probably it's not set to display block. It's probably inline, or the display is block. And well, either way, we could do the position absolute within the relative positioned div. That will allow us to position exactly using pixels within the region of that div. But I don't necessarily like that solution. So let's, and I don't know, is pull right also in the Bootstrap 5? I have to check on that. So let's do class card. What was it? Body. And in the card body, let's do an input type text, or type text. Class will be input. Was it? No, form control. Form control. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. We need a title and all that stuff. So let's copy some stuff from Bootstrap. Form controls. Yeah, this is. Yeah. Let's try this. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, I think that'll do. So this will be email, or let's do first name. Name, we don't want to break it into first name, last name, right? You just put whatever name you want on it. It's not really important that I know your name. Let's do, what are we gonna call it? Let's call it BHR name. Our ticket name, no, BHR name, and ID BHR name, and described by because there's this span. Okay. So name helper line. I hate this. Name helper line. Okay, and the name that will appear on the shipping label. Okay, that will be okay. So here we have a name. Oh, but it's type password. We want text. The user is allowed to see his name. Now we have the first container, so this will gonna be the name and email address, pretty much. I don't think we need anything more. Then we need the description of the ticket, or maybe we can just call this basic information. Let's do this. H4 contact information. We'll see how it's gonna work. It's not working well because card title. Maybe it's better to do it in the panel. Let's get rid of card title class. Put it in the separate div. It hasn't made any difference. So let's call it class. let's call it BHR section, section ticket section, ticket submit section. So normally you shouldn't do it like that. By like that, BHR, I mean just like you see over here, G3 or MT5, right? So the style, the name of the style tells you what it's going to apply to the element. If you put all your elements, give them the classes, this is this button, that div, and whatever, and then the rules for those classes in the CSS file, that makes the code very difficult to read. So this is the pattern, the good pattern that I recommend. But in this case, we want to not only use the classes for styles, but also for functionality. So I will be using a lot of classes here, and those classes will also contain styles. So styles will be in a separate file, but for simplicity's sake and speed at the moment, I will be writing my styles over here, and then I'll just copy them or move them to the CSS file once I'm ready. The reason for that is twofold. First of all, speed. I have everything in one file. I can split this file into two screens and just work on it nicely. Second reason is I don't need to refresh the page with or give the version numbers to the CSS files, so the new styles are pulled. The new styles will always apply. No caching, no nothing. That's why you don't do it, because it cannot be cached if it's here. Our div. What do we want on our div? Let's get the div, and let's start. This is border box sizing. Oh, that's fine. Display block. And so if it's blocked, we can first of all just give it a padding of let's do 5 pixels for now, and actually let's do 6, 7. Let's do padding left, yeah, a little here, and padding top, like 5 pixels. No. Okay, that's just to give it some room. Now I want my button, so let's copy that on to the style over here. Now I want my button to float. I want the button to be positioned here, just like on, and also hang on, I also need, let's get all the elements that we need in this div. So we need a button, we need a title, and we need a icon. Icon will be first will be like the exclamation or something like that. Now we have 15 minutes left, so we're not gonna do a lot here, I guess. Can I just find it here, or I will know when I see it? Maybe this one, X circle? No, that doesn't look good. You know what, let's do the X circle because we don't have that much time. path, right, what's the here? Oh, I thought we used spans for that. I guess no more. And this will change once you click on it and fill it out, and it's validated and everything. It will switch to it'll switch to different class. So we'll remove the class and add the class, different class. Okay, why can we not see this? Let's give it color. Maybe it's color white, and that's why. Nope. Let's see the position of it. It's auto. Yeah, it's 0 times 0 pixels. So can we just change it to span, and that will fix the problem? It will not. It will not fix the problem. I hate front end. Yeah, it's 0 times 0. What am I doing wrong here? BI circle. Well, I copied the class exactly, right? Icon font. Yeah, so I don't see the example, because that would be, or no, let's see this example. Why is it SVG and not? So do we need an SVG actually, not the span? Because that's how it worked in Bootstrap 3. You just give the span a class and it works, right? And here it looks like you just need to copy the actual SVG. That's less than ideal. How am I supposed to work with this? I want to give it a class, right, and then remove that class with JavaScript and add another class to switch the element. Now it looks like I need to add 2 elements and just hide one, showing the other one, and then when the state changes, I have to show another one. I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with this at all. So let's do this. Let's first of all do the div class what was it for? So I want to put it in the column. All right, let's see what we got here. So we can arrange it vertically or horizontally. Oh, that didn't work. What am I doing wrong? I'm probably using the Bootstrap 3 stuff instead of Bootstrap 4. Instead of Bootstrap 5. Forms, utilities, form grid, row, class, column. What about other columns? Column. Oh, because I did medium instead of MD. That's the problem. Okay. Let's see how that works. So now, yeah, now we have the nice little column over here. It's in a column that takes, what's the width? It should be, what, 30% or something? Where is it? This is card. Let's width. Why do I not see it? What am I doing wrong here? Okay, we don't want. Let's find that. Call MD. Inherited from body. Inherited from whatever. Can I collapse this? Container empty. MT5. Oh no, this is MT5. Body HTML. Why do I not see the? Oh, hang on. That's why. Okay, my bad. I was looking at the wrong div. That's why. Okay, so it's third of the screen. So if it's third of the screen, do you want it third of the screen? No. Let's do 6. What is that gonna be? This is 50%, so we're going the wrong direction. Let's do 1. And that is 8%. Perfect. We can also use offsets and all that kind of stuff. So this will just be for this div, right? And we're gonna do another div over here, class colon medium, and let's do, what was it, 4? That was 30%. That will probably be okay. And they should start floating now. They're not floating correctly, but that's because I messed up my divs. This div needs to end here, and this div needs to go here. So that will be one div, and our button needs to go to another one, which will be div class call medium. We'll figure out the sizing for different screens. For now, if I do the medium, it'll pretty much apply to everything because there's no other ones. So let's do 4. It was 30%. Oh, it doesn't matter. Let's see what it looks like first. It does not look the way I want it to look. What am I doing wrong? First one. Oh, second one went under because we don't have the div class row or column, I think. Yes. Or no, row, because I want everything to flow in one row. Let's clean it up, and let's see. Yeah, so that did the trick. Okay, so now it's floating the way I want it to float. The sizing is all wrong, but that's fine. We'll figure it out later. So the fill button needs to be way to the right, and the contact information is okay, and this needs to be a little smaller, but actually I'll just add a margin to this one. I'll just add margin left, I don't know, like 15 pixels, something like that. So it'll be centered, and also it needs a scale of at least 200%, something like that. So it's bigger, but that's not our concern yet. Now we just want to do some JavaScript. We have 4 minutes. We're not gonna do much JavaScript. So again, I'm gonna write it here. and then I will move it to another file, script, and we want so I'm gonna do it directly here, but this will not be able to be copied over to the file, and I'll show you why later. And we need to break it up into functions and stuff. So for now, let's just do the button. The button. Where's the button? Here. We need class on it. That will be, what was the other one? BHR ticket submit section. So it'll be BHR ticket expand button. So for all these buttons, I want to have a click event listener, which will receive an event right, and on that event we want to prevent default, and the reason we do that is otherwise the button would submit the form and we just want it to do nothing. Let's see if we have the event listener on it. There's click, but there's like, oh, because I have accessors. And there's no event on it, so we didn't attach the event to it. And there's no issues in the console. So that's why. Here. Let's refresh. And we still don't have the event listener on it. Do we not have jQuery or what? Why would... BHR ticket expand button. No event listener on it. That's not gonna change anything. Let's see if we have jQuery. Yes, we have JS jQuery, and we do actually have it, so it's good. So jQuery is here. It's probably, yeah, okay. I just said that and I made the same mistake, okay. I just said that this will not work when you put it in the separate file, because by the time this fires, the button doesn't exist yet, and you can't attach the event this way, because the element needs to exist. Kind of a silly mistake, like a rookie mistake, but I'm not a front-end guy. So we have our listener. Okay, so that was it. So we want to have the let button equals this. This is our button, right? So on our button, we want to hide that button once we clicked on it. So button fade out. That should work. There you go. Button faded out, but we first need to start with this. So card body needs to be invisible when we start the page. We can do the hidden class, but that changes the display to none and visibility to none. So then when you do fade in, it will not show up. Oh, but actually we can just remove that class. Yeah, so let's do this. Card row class card. Where's the card body? Card body. And we want hidden. So the body is not displayed until we, no, there's no hidden class. Let's just ask Google. Bootstrap 5 hidden class. Hide class display property, Bootstrap 5. Oh, D none. Okay. D none. Well, I guess this is better, because it tells you display none, right? Yeah. And when we click on it, we want to show it. So let's inspect our contact button, because we need to know how many parents are we gonna go up. So we gotta go, so this is our this, right? This will be parent number 1, parent number 2, parent number 3, parent number 3. So let body, no, parent div let's just do the container will be button parent parent parent. There's probably easier way to do it, but I don't know. Then we need the body, and the body will be container find card body, right? And from body we're gonna do remove class D none. Oops. Yeah, that's good. Now let's see if it works. There you go. Okay, so the user will be, so now the final button will be at the bottom over here. Which div is this? This is card body. So that's where it needs to be. So this will be button class button success, doesn't matter. Save or done or next, whatever. So and y is, that's why our button doesn't look right. Fill, we're filling and we're hitting next. This will collapse and it will change the div, so it'll apply some styles. our button class will be bhr ticket and next button, doesn't matter. And again, to that button we want to attach a event. Event, and we want to do event prevent default. I'll show you later what happens when you don't prevent default. But it's kind of, it's the form is just going to be auto submitted. Every time you click that button, the form will just submit itself. Because we're working with the simple, basic, simple form. We're just putting some bells and whistles around it to make it less, to make it more visible. So this will be the same because it's also the button, right? And now we want to do let edit button. So once the user fills it in, we want to allow the users to correct it. So to do that, we're gonna have to go from the button parent, right? And let's see our parent here. Our parent will be the card body, and we want the card. So one parent, second parent. So two parents. Right, and here we want to find the, what was it called? The BHR, this button. Fade in. But now let's see if this works now. So this opens, hides the button, next. Yeah. So we just need to add the, so let's do this. This is our container. What did I call it? Yeah, container. It's this one, and we want to find it in the container. And our body needs to be hidden again. Container find card body, and we want the body to add class the none. And that will conclude it for today, I guess, because we're out of time. We're past the time. Oh, we didn't hide it. What happened here? Here, I forgot the dot. The dot signifies the class. Yeah. Alright, and in the next one we're also gonna change the color here or stuff like that, and basically make it more visually appealing. Right now it's just a functionality. It doesn't look good, but it works. And there's going to be a lot of these collapsible things. But the reason I'm not moving forward with this, I want to finish this particular one, because this will be our component that we're going to reuse, because there's going to be a few of these, right? And we got to clean up the JavaScript and all that. But we'll do all that in the next session, because this one went way too long. Alrighty, hope you guys found it useful, and thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.